So I'm Jordan Robinson.
Oh, yes,
Jordan Robinson here. Jordan Robinson.
Hello.
Welcome.
Known comedian at large. And how would you describe yourself to people?
As you've just done.
Okay, good.
Pretty much. Third person as well.
Right.
The Jordan.
The Jordan Robinson, comedian, known comedian at large.
Yes.
The Jordan,
Nice. How are you doing, Jordan?
Doing pretty good.
Are we allowed to ask you about your studying at the minute? No.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah? You're studying to be a thing at the minute?
I am studying to be a thing.
the real deal.
Yeah. How good would it be if we kept the whole podcast going, not saying what I'm studying for, but just keep asking like big questions about
suspense for the end of the podcast. What's he saying?
Tune in for part 2.
Yeah. What would you study to be a Nazi as well? I suppose probably business studies.
Beauty and healthcare.
Standing on business.
Standing on the mass graves of
business,
you're studying to do a bit of touring.
Yes, tour guiding.
Touring
and touring. As I like to say. I'm excited for that. It's going to be good.
How are you finding it so far?
I haven't started yet.
Oh yeah,
I haven't started January.
You literally told us 2 days ago.
And I really fucked up because I was like kind of between up north and down south, and I moved up again in September thinking the course was starting in September. So I've been kicking tires here since September.
That's a nice phrase, kicking tires.
Just got nothing to do, just kicking tires. It's either that's an analogy for doing nothing or shopping for cars. Those are the two ways. You can
what
you
did
can
people
use
say before tires then?
Just kicking. I mean, it was like
cartwheels,
kicking a horse, going
Kicking hooves.
Kicking hooves. Wheezing your horse. Wheezing. In my head, I just imagined that you were testing his lung capacity, so you give him a wee hug. You give him a wee Heimlich.
Yeah, just the blood pressure of the horse.
If you're giving a Heimlich to the horse, you have to like get on top of it then, wouldn't you? You'd have to, because you have to get your arms around it. You're not doing it from below. You might get a face full of...
Wee Heimlich.
Heimlich maneuver, you know, when you're choking?
I heard something else there.
The Hyman maneuver?
Yeah, I was like, Jesus.
It's completely different from the Heimlich
It's
maneuver.
very simple though, the Hyman maneuver, you know. You just play tennis a bit too hard and out it goes. Isn't that the thing? Is anything about your Hyman playing a bit of tennis?
No, it's horse riding, is it not?
Horse riding and then...
bumpy roads.
Bumpy roads. I swear to God, I'm 99% certain tennis is involved in there as well. But I also feel like that's kind of embarrassing way to lose your virginity, isn't it? Or, well, to break your hymen is just going fucking mixed doubles, you know, too hard.
Kind of my uni class called Hyman, which is
Very Jewish sounding name.
Well, he was. I invited him to my 21st, and he walked into our living room, and there was just a Palestine flag in the living room, and it was kind of like, he didn't hang around long. I don't know why.
I've never met a Jewish guy in Northern Ireland, you know.
Well, this is in England. I was studying in England before, so.
Are we unwelcoming to them, perhaps?
There is a synagogue in...
like, go down Sandy Road, there's no amount of fucking Israeli flags.
A lot of Israeli flags around the Shankill. I'm sure they feel very welcome.
There's a synagogue in the Somerton Road as well, because we got taken in school to watch like an Israeli kid play piano, and he was walking past and he was talking about really wanting to watch The Sixth Sense, and a Smith goes, Bruce Willis dies at the end, or he's been dead the whole time.
Oh, that's excellent.
And he's like, I'm going back to Israel.
And that boy grew up to be Netanyahu.
Imagine his villain origin story was as simple as someone's just spoiling
The Sixth Sense.
Like, fuck it, Palestine's gone then, I'm taking it.
He was like, I just watched Iron Man. I remember it specifically in my head, this piano prodigy going, and now I really want to watch The Sixth Sense. And this Smith just, we were in a single file line, just leaned out and went, he's been dead the whole time.
Whenever I think one of my first relationships was for 7 months with, at the time, a fellow goth, and she was really into The Nightmare Before Christmas. You know the way emo kids and goths were really
love
into
that
it.
shit, like.
And I found it to be overrated, but I went with it because of her. And then we broke up, and I was very mad. And my friend drove at the time, so I was like, it was 16, I think, and I was like, drive me past her house, I'll shout something at her house. And I was going to shout The Nightmare Before Christmas is overrated. And because I thought that's such a petty thing to shout that it might be funny. And then I rolled down the window and the adrenaline got me, and I went, Nightmare on Elm Street's shite. And do you know what's worse? A light went on in her living room at that point, and I was like, fuck's sake. Like, at least wait 5 minutes till a circle around the cul-de-sac, you know?
Some fella's like, Elm Street trying that way, mate.
Oh man, that's raging.
Speaking of horror films,
Yes.
big horror.
A big horror guy.
Yeah.
And just to give a little bit of credence to what you're saying, I also think Nightmare on Elm Street's I did it. Nightmare Before Christmas is overrated. I don't like it. It's just it's basically a movie to sell merch. That's all it is.
It was very merchy, like.
Like Baby Yoda. Created to sell merch.
That is proper. That is just for money, like
That really is.
wee guy.
But yeah,
punch
big,
Baby Yoda.
big horror guy.
You're watching a bunch at the minute, are you? Or is that
Just after Halloween, I watched like 31 horror movies in 31 days. Which
What was the worst? Like, of them all?
Hatchet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
worst quality or worst scary?
There, like most of the things that I was watching, just because you're kind of like exposed to a lot of horror movies. When you're me, a lot of them weren't that scary, but enjoyable nonetheless. But Hatchet was bullshit. I fucking hated that movie. Yeah, and I don't really have any reason for it. You know, when
What's it about?
it's about this guy. It's like Victor Crowley. It's in Louisiana. It's just it angers me to talk about it.
Did the substance come into your
Yeah.
Halloween?
Yeah,
Like,
it was
that
one of the
fucking
movies.
great, like-
I went to the cinema to see a lot of stuff, and it was great. I loved it.
I hear it's class.
Oh, it's very good.
Because Substance is a great film, but a load of middle-aged men in work watched it and were like, Demi Moore still got some body on her. Like, you're missing the point of the film.
Precisely.
Yeah, that he goes, she's cracking. He goes, the guy was like, you know who I fancy? It's a bit of an odd choice. Kate Winslet. And I went, that's not an odd choice at all. Like, yeah.
My granny used to call her semi-Moore, which in some ways it is kind of it means the same, isn't it? You know, like a demi-Moore, she's not a full Moore.
Yes.
Demi-baguette.
That sounds like the same combo this mix in my workout. Semi-Moore, that's what she gives me.
Oh, demi-Moore. Yeah, I hear it's fucking great. I've not seen it.
Oh, it's
great,
fantastic.
really
Yeah.
I'm very easily spooked, you know. I like to see things on TV instead of the cinema for spooks.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Like, I remember you were driving me back and you were saying you were quite nervous to go see Alien Romulus in
Yeah.
cinema in case it was like proper, like.
I enjoyed that quite a lot.
I really
Yeah,
loved
it was
Alien
great.
Romulus, yeah.
Me and fellow comedian James McKegney went to go see that.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, it was really good.
We were doing a gig in Accidental.
Yes. that's it.
And I said, because there's a creature in the new Alien film called The Offspring. And I went, I'm going to go on stage here like The Offspring. And you went, what's singing Pretty Fly for a week?
Oh yeah, The Offspring was fucking creepy as well. I really enjoyed it. Do you know what helped? I saw it with a friend of mine who he reacted the way I wanted to react deep down, if you know what I mean. Like when there was critters on screen doing something scary, he was going like, "What? No, no!" And I was like, "It's weirdly really helpful." He's like speaking for me, you know.
Have we ever been to the cinema together?
No, and it's weird that we haven't.
Yeah.
Jordan and I are very good friends.
Yeah, it's weird that that we've never done that.
Mostly just meet up in the little cafes with little notebooks. And,
Talk about our feelings.
Talk about our feelings. Yeah. Show me on the doll where he touched you. You know?
And he's talking about himself, and it's always my heart.
Yeah. That's quite nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. No wonder you got heart problems though. Keep touching it. Keep fucking touching it.
You took me to my first ever Belfast Giants game last Sunday.
That was
nice.
very sweet.
fun. I was dying that day. Not hungover or anything like that, just very ill.
This guy's being dudes.
Yeah.
I was dying of a hangover and about 6 beers there. Like, yeah.
But no, it was good crack. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was a pretty shit game for your first game, but
it was fun.
win nonetheless.
It was another one though.
Oh, they won?
Yeah.
Oh, shit about it.
It was just 1-0 win, very kind of
Right.
Who were they playing?
Dundee.
Dundee.
Scumday.
Yeah, Kieran's gone full ultra now.
Yeah, sitting there like,
Yeah.
tail.
St. George's Cross.
He's got an XL bully outside.
I was waiting for all their fans to come out, all four of them. Like, and it was a family. I was like,
Yeah, that was the weirdest time where it was like when we went out for smoke during one of the period breaks, and like you go out for a smoke and you don't necessarily talk to anybody, but like 3 different people from 3 different nationalities came up and started talking to us, and I was like, that's never happened before there. That was weird.
A little multicultural moment.
Yeah.
Cross community, like.
Yeah, exactly, but they're all from like
We
the
friendly.
UK and Ireland, so it's
Scottish, Cork, Dublin, I'm sure.
So many cultures here of British.
Yeah, so many different types of white. It's great.
The guy described that he was, I watched ice hockey in Cork or something and fell in love with there.
Yeah,
I was like,
I was like, what? There is no ice rinks down south.
Where do you watch it then?
I have no idea.
There used to be one on Dundalk,
TV.
and that was it. Like,
Yeah,
It's just the river froze over one day. People having a wee skid.
But yeah, that's I still think that's mental that there's no public ice rinks down south.
It's weird as well. That is a
For
weird
such a
thing.
northern European country,
Yeah,
too, like,
it's
well,
crazy.
Do you know, I don't think they know about Tato Castle either, because they had Tato Park, didn't they? So like all the Tato there.
Is that not the same thing?
No. See, this is you've never had to work with adults with learning difficulties before. They started to know my name in Tato Castle, man. In fact, they did know my name in Tato Castle. They're like, "Oh, good to see you again." Look, I was like, I look very fat right now. But there's Tato Castle, obviously in Tandragee up north, like, and that's our World Trade Center, and then down south they've got Tato Park, which is like they make the Tato there, but also it's a zoo and a theme park at the same time. And I think the last couple of years they had to they lost the rights to it or something. It's just a park now, but I can't remember why. It's no longer Tato Park essentially, but
Is it the one with the wooden roller coaster?
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it might be actually. Yeah. Using crisps to support it as buttresses, you know.
I always thought theme parks would be a much bigger part of my life. The older I got, like I would make more time to go
Yeah,
to theme
you would
parks.
invest a lot more money and time into it. Like, but
Flavor condoms too. I always thought that was going to be a big deal in my adulthood. I only used it once or twice, and I was like, I can't taste anything. It's like it's on my dick. It doesn't have taste buds.
this is why kids should not be involved in stocks.
Yeah.
I would have invested everything I own into Earthworm Jim merchandise. I'm so
That
glad
went
I
bust.
didn't.
That went
Yeah,
bust.
that one.
That was the voice of Homer. Did Earthworm Jim?
it? Dan Castellaneta.
Yeah.
Laughing and learning.
There's I went down a wee Earthworm Jim. I was going to say rabbit hole, but I guess wormhole.
Wormhole, yeah.
the other day, and like the guy who made the music basically has never made music. There's a 2-hour documentary called "It's about the Minecraft oof." The noise oof in Minecraft because it got very popular, and then there was this guy who claimed he invented it, and he did the soundtrack of Earthworm Jim, and then it turns out he did not do that either, and he's taken credit for about 30 million things, and he's done fucking none of them.
I kind of love that, but
It's kind of amazing in a way. It's a really after a while a grift almost becomes, I respect it out of the brazen fucking dickheadedness of it. I think Doug Tenenbaum, the guy behind Earthworm Jim, big racist now, I think, or something bad. Anyway, I can't remember. Anyway, sorry, Earthworm Jim.
Yeah,
stocks.
so I'm glad I didn't invest. Is what I'm trying to say.
I like that you're arguing against the idea of kids investing in stocks as if there's people arguing for that.
what you said with flavoured condoms is definitely like something that I'd be using these number one, I assume they're having sex every day. But it's like one of the most, like, first lads holiday I ever went on, I packed like so many fucking like condoms in a thing. Didn't use a single one of them. My dad was like, "Mom, will like take out all your dirty washing from the suitcase and I'll help you." And he opened it up, zipped it out, and about 100 condoms fell out. And he was like, "What the fuck?"
He's just shaking his head.
Somebody I used to work with thought I was a big shagger once because he opened the glove box in my car and all these condoms fell out. And I had to sort of go, yeah, but if I was using them, there wouldn't be any condoms.
Yeah, if
you know
there was just wrappers, you'd be like, "Oh, this guy fucks."
I like that I keep the wrappers in that.
This guy wears his wrappers in memory.
in his car. Yeah. This guy's aware he might be involved in a water related emergency someday and he's ready to transport it. Isn't that what they say? So take a condom to the desert and then you can use it to carry water around and all that stuff.
Where are you getting the water from the desert? But like
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually.
Yeah, exactly. Bring water. Don't bring a condom.
Yeah. But if you find an oasis, that's when you
just sucking the lube out of
Especially if it's pineapple flavored.
Yeah.
That's when flavoured condoms really come into action. Like
you get rescued from the desert and they try and pick you up, but you're too lubed up. You just like
sweat
Oh,
out.
we have to leave him here now.
Like a sandworm from June, just
I'd never seen any of the Junes.
I took over my life.
Yeah,
You'd like a June, I think.
I don't know. I don't really like your man Timothy Chalamet.
See, I wasn't fussed on him, and then I watched. There's a scene where he basically tells all these boys he's the Messiah, and I was watching it going, it's incredible, man.
You're with him.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I follow this guy. Like, I can understand like why these guys are following him.
He does have a kind of low key charisma, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't super fussed on him myself, but I think it's because the first thing I saw him in was Lady Bird, where he's kind of like just like the worst guy you meet in secondary school. Do you know what I mean? Like the guy who has access to drugs and kind of that's his personality and he thinks he's very cool. And it's like, we had a couple of those guys. And it's like, as an adult, they're all into fucking crypto and conspiracy theories because as an adult, everyone has access to drugs and you can't make out your personality anymore. So it's
And they wear body warmers.
yeah, they do love body warmers.
Yeah.
They all look like they're about to go to a bowling alley somewhere at any moment.
I will say that last night at No Joke, this was really fucking cool.
Yeah.
a guy had a heated body warmer.
That's
And I was kind of like, that's
In no joke.
yeah, which is number one. I was like, wait, we're on this inside, because I was like, oh, I kind of walked up to him and, oh, dude, your body warmer lights up, that's sick. And then kind of how in my early 20s I would be like, that's loser, but then now I'm in my mid 20s, I'm like, that's sick.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
he went, oh, it's heated, so I hit this button and it just heats up. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like,
That is incredibly cool.
Imagine you on the playground with somebody with light up shoes. You're going like, oh, your shoes light up, man. Pretty sick.
Holy fuck, this guy can run in the dark.
that's another investment from childhood. You know, shoes, I'm like, exactly like that. Heelys as well.
Oh yeah, man. I definitely thought Heelys would have been bigger than what they were.
Yeah, I really thought they were going to be
I would like
massive.
everybody. It'll be
Transport has revolutionized.
like yeah,
I'd
yeah.
be-
It's like
I'd be-
everybody will be wearing these by 2030. Like,
Yeah, I like the idea of us in the playground in like suits, smoking cigarettes, being like, "Let me tell you, fellas, Stretch Armstrong's going to be huge, and then he's going to be very small afterwards."
It is mental. Like, is Stretch Armstrong again? Another fucking legend disappeared.
A hero of the game. I saw a video where someone stuck. Am I talking too much? By the way, I feel like I'm talking.
All I was just going to say, it's one of the consequences of cancel culture. We don't have Stretch Armstrong anymore.
Yeah, it's like it turns out we're actually being really racist because his name isn't Stretch or something. Like
We're being
it's
very ableist.
Jamal Armstrong. No, that's stupid. That's stupid. But I saw a video where somebody stuck a hose in a Stretch Armstrong and
Yes,
just
I've seen those.
saw how much they could fill him up with water until he blew up. And it was pretty big.
Yeah.
But he
It
gets very
spans quite long.
distended. And you know, the one bit you see the bits that aren't built to stretch is like the head. So he's got this fucking just balloon body and a little tiny head.
Like
just
someone on
capping it up.
steroids who doesn't work out.
Yes.
Like the substance.
Yeah. Yeah. Poke him and he pops. You know?
I used to stick one in the freezer.
Did you?
Yeah.
Batter someone.
Yeah,
What is it?
that's a lethal weapon.
Yeah, you stretch him and then freeze it, and you have a baseball bat. Essentially, I suppose.
In whatever shape you want, like.
What were you doing with him when he was stretched?
I don't know.
Just
Like,
I guess.
yeah, I've just got vague memories of like sticking them in the freezer and then like taking it out and it was like freezing.
Right,
And wrote,
see,
like, all
Toy
hard.
Story would hate you.
What's next? The microwave.
Here, like that's weird because I thought I was the only one that had this. I had like a freezing stuff phase in my childhood where I'd just be like, found out if you just stuck something in the freezer and some water, it froze, you know?
Yeah.
So I just kept freezing things and just putting them in. My parents go, what are you doing with it? Just looking at it. Looks
Yeah.
kind of cool. you know?
Science.
Yeah.
Science,
Experiment
yeah.
then.
Cold.
It's like freezing. I always thought if I froze a can of Coke in the fridge, it would like be a Coke lolly, and then it just exploded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Coke was the problem because there was fizz in it, so you'd end up with like this weird flat bit and then this big bubble and nothing. You know?
Yeah.
But it was freezing stuff. The lollies was a big deal for a while too, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
another
yeah.
stock. Invest.
Yeah. What was another thing then? Toy lightsabers that were properly lit up.
Oh, the toy lightsabers that you just had like a button on them and it shot out, so it looked like you had the Force.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
that was
that was
the
next
tits.
level, like.
Yeah, that was a big
I
deal.
never had one of those.
Hulk hands.
Hulk
hands, yeah.
Huge.
Just
Huge.
after, well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
Did you ever,
it.
did you ever try and wank using Hulk hands? It's called masturbating.
I'm really
make you feel more pathetic than doing that.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
speaking of actual things that would have been good to buy stock in. Have you seen the amount of TikTok videos and stuff like that of people opening Pokemon cards now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like insane. It's
a thing?
Like it's a huge big thing, and like if you get them like rated by like PSA, they like go for thousands and stuff like that.
okay.
And I'm almost going to empty every bank account I have and just try and make it big that way.
I saw a video with somebody opening like a booster pack of Pokemon cards on the dance floor, and they got a really rare one.
Yes,
and everyone on the
yes,
dance
yes,
floor
I've
freaks
seen
out.
that.
It's just like being cheered, you know. I
I think I
that
might
shit.
start doing that on stage.
Just
So-
opening.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
just opening
See what happens.
packets of Pokemon cards.
Then you like weld it shut when you go home, so you could do it every time. If you got a good card.
Yeah. Like, got a Charizard, motherfuckers.
I think like Match Attack's made a wee bit of a comeback
Have they?
recently. Like,
Match, is that the football one? Is it?
yeah, I don't know if
that's
they're still
right.
called that, but there was like, I think during the Euros or the World Cup or something, there was like,
World Cup
Albums and
2018.
stuff.
The Panini stickers.
Aye.
There was a house that I used to go around to pre-spell in uni, and they always said, if you come around to our house to pre-spell, you're not allowed in unless you buy us a packet of football stickers as well. So that's how they got the book completed. Like,
Very
It's pretty
decent.
impressive.
yeah. It's like,
I'm a big fan of the sticker collections when it comes to like Euros and
Yeah.
World Cups and stuff like that.
it also helps you familiarize yourself with the squad because you're like, right, half these players, I don't know who they are, like. And then you've got a bit of baller knowledge in the bar. You're like, oh, well, actually, he plays in the Turkish league.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video of, I think it was Oxygen, maybe? It was like a festival years ago where somebody took a massive shit in the toilet and it was like too big to flush in one of the portaloos and people were sort of going, who did this? Who did this? And eventually somebody like steps up and is like, I did this. And they all raise him on their shoulders and cheer for him as they take him away.
I am Shiticus.
What do you mean the guy who actually done the shit?
Sorry, that's bad. Oh dear.
Paul. Nah, it's not going to.
Paul Fecal.
There you go. Knocking them out of the park today, lads.
I'm weak.
Just throwing up. What do you mean the guy who actually done the shit, seeing someone else take your credit as well?
Oh, yeah, stolen. The worst kind of stolen valor. Yeah. The worst
Took
kind.
my shit. I had to eat that hot dog. I had to eat that.
Oh, festival food is grim, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's probably one of the reasons, not the festival food, but the having to shit out, not in public, but, you know, in like porta potties and stuff like that. One of the reasons why I would never go to like a major festival or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I get you. They're not pretty.
I think that and camping, just the idea of sleeping outside, kind of.
Camping, it's not really an issue for me, but it is just the fact that the frequency and of me shitting would be an issue, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You big shitter?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I'm a nervous shitter. Like, if I feel uneasy and stuff like that, I probably, like, would shit quite a lot.
Face the world empty if you can. Yeah, why not? Yeah. Why
Nice
not?
way to look at it.
I know my dad keeps going like, you need to get your fucking bowels checked to me, and I'm also like, no, because I look at my dad and then go, no, that's the reason why. Like,
Oh, yeah?
yeah,
Yeah,
like,
well, at least you know what it is. Kind of
yeah.
thing.
Aye.
Since stopping drinking Guinness, it's been a massive help. I've noticed.
Wow,
which
right.
is like probably for the best. Then
I would have thought that like Guinness would have been something that solidifies it. Or
Iron, a lot of iron in Guinness. I don't know how that affects your shits.
Yeah.
Guinness and Monster Energy, you get a kind of like kryptonite green shit, and it's like, you can kill Superman with this.
Did you ever see that picture of someone mixing the two of them where it's a gunster?
Yeah.
Ugh.
Which is a
Or
grim name.
they used to do, like, this was a while ago, it was like a Badger. It was like Smirnoff Ice in Guinness.
Nice. That's horrible.
Yeah. we tried it once in the bar I was working in. It was absolutely disgusting.
You used to work in the bar with no name, is that right?
Yes, man.
Yes. Or Auntie Annie's, perhaps?
Yeah, so I worked in it just after it started as the 5 points, and now it's the points. And
I think you served my mum and dad once.
Oh, really?
Well, they just made a real point of mentioning they really liked this bartender in the bar with no name, and that he spoke to them for a while about a lot of things.
I do.
And then a month later, you told me you worked there, and I was like, well, then that's, it wasn't going to be some other no name, no name cunt. That wasn't even meant to be a pun on the bar, but
It was also the first bar I was ever served in, so it could have been you. I was like, I'm going to give this kid a chance.
the bar with no responsibility.
They did not give a
with no
fuck.
liability.
They always said it was Ireland qualifying, Republic of Ireland beating Germany to qualify for the Euros. That was a good day. Like.
Shane Long.
Shane Long,
that was,
Manuel Neuer. It was
2015.
Yeah,
Wow.
Northern Ireland were playing Greece that day, I think, and it tells you my alliances because I was at that game.
Well, I was watching going, fucking bastards.
Where I was watching it, they gave out free shots to everyone after that goal went in. Like,
See, that's where I should have been instead of sitting in, because I remember it was full of great Northern Irish fans celebrating Greece, and I was like, I kind of want the Republic of Ireland game on. Like,
Yeah, could we have a wee vote?
oh, I would have been completely outnumbered in that game. Like,
ready for the Troubles 2.0. Like,
I'm not like people are like, oh, do you want to see Northern Ireland do well? And I'm kind of like, no.
I was at the match last night.
Was it who was playing last night?
Finland.
Did they win?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Finland, they're meant to
Yeah,
be quite
1-0,
good, aren't
was
they?
it? No, they're quite bad.
Well,
Ireland was so shit. Like,
The Republic playing England on Sunday.
I was at that game as well, like the home one.
Oh,
It was mental. Like,
yeah, because it was. Although the fact that the two players who scored, Grealish and Rice, used to play for Ireland.
Yeah.
They had Irish parents or Irish heritage, and then they switched when they knew they'd play for England.
Well, I mean, yeah, you
it couldn't have went down any better for them.
Yeah, they had a fucking stormer, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah, like I don't know. I've never been to a Republic match, but I also want to go when they're getting pumped continuously these days. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like Stephen Kenny was the manager as well, who like was trying to play like sexy football with a team that's like
Not sexy.
Nazi, yeah.
Sexy, like, do you mean like fancy moves for a team that weren't very fancy?
For a team who are used to just kick it as far as you can.
Yeah.
Or kick it.
Violence.
The Irish way.
Yeah, kick it to the tallest guy and see if he can get it on his head.
And the tallest guy is 5'4".
It is Ireland. Yeah.
Just doesn't work like.
Yeah. He's like 20, but he looks like Phil Mitchell. Tattoos on his teeth.
I remember the coach at the, like, I was at a football match and the coach was screaming at them and he goes, like a load of like 14-year-olds, he goes, I want you playing fucking tiki-taka and you're playing fucking chicken tikka.
That's good banter.
That is great. He rehearsed that. Like,
Yeah,
that was
yeah,
Ireland.
yeah.
That's in the
He's been
mirror.
waiting weeks for that. Like,
Do you know what it was? He was at the Spar Deli and he saw a sandwich and he was like,
Oh God, so we need to be down 2-0 before I can chop this. Like,
I hope they play shit today. Like,
it's kind of cheering. Like,
Yeah, if his fate was different that day, it'd have been like, we're trying to play tiki-taka and you're playing tuna and cheese.
it's like
Shit.
You're playing Italian BMT for fuck's sake.
all defense. No, like, it's like I don't want to say we were playing a school and their striker was foreign, but he was obviously in that school and he looked a lot older than a 14-year-old and he went, there's no way he's fucking 14. He goes, he does a door at the first day out on a Friday night. He's like, this is really intense. Yeah. I was assistant coach and he went, don't you ever, in the staff room, ever say you're my assistant coach. He was, you stood in the sidelines hungover. I went, he's got a point.
Nice.
Jordan, you were head coach at a comedians football match.
How did that go?
I had like absolutely nothing to do. So I turned up. I was supposed to be playing that day, but obviously cardiac reasons and stuff like that, I wasn't feeling up to it. So
It's got
I
heart
was like, yeah, and I was like, no, I'll just. But I did have like the full like West Ham tracksuit that I was wearing that day, which is weird because I don't even support West Ham. But no, yeah, like just proper, like went full Fergie mode, stuff like that in the huddle at the like in the middle, just trying to get like Stevie G kind of this doesn't fucking slip now, and we got beat 12-1.
I remember you had the hands behind the back as well, like hair dryer treatment ready to go off. Like,
Was that the one where they were playing like proper footballers or the one where they're playing Southern comedians?
No, Oxford Sunnyside. It's a kind of amateur team from Lurgan. And they absolutely humped us. Like, although I will say, Shane Todd scored one of the nicest goals I've ever seen in my life.
Apparently, he's a very good footballer.
that joke and the roast.
Oh, yeah.
That was
That was well. Alan said to me, he was like, "Do you know what would actually hurt Shane's feelings is he really likes people knowing he's a good footballer." So he said something like, Shane shows that he's a good footballer by playing against such amazing physical specimens as Jordan Robinson, William Thompson. Like, Shane Todd is the best disabled footballer in Northern Ireland.
have you talked about the roast on here?
Not really, no. It was good.
Did you enjoy it?
I had a good time, yeah. I had a lovely time.
Looking back on it now, I thought that I did a lot worse than what I actually did after watching back. I really enjoyed it.
Said that, yeah. I think because in the night there was a couple people beating themselves up for what I thought were pretty good sets, but I'm known for my rose tinted specs, so I just kept my mouth shut. But I think seeing the video, videos always level you out, you know, and like I don't want to over talk about stand up too much because I hear sometimes people go, sure, they're all just talk about gigs all the time, and it's like
inside baseball.
That is, yeah, exactly, yeah. But like, I think the videos always level you out. Like, if you think you've fucking murdered, you watch it and you go, it was just all right.
Yeah.
And if you think you fucking died, you watch it and you go, it was just all right.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it's always all right.
there are sometimes where I got a video and going, no, that's fucking as bad as I thought.
So, yeah, there's some I don't touch. Yeah.
There's some I actually haven't watched the video back. I've just deleted it immediately. You're getting nothing from this.
I don't blame you.
There's been a good there's been a good couple of pubs where I was like, please, look, just don't send me.
Don't send me a video. And people sometimes beg me not to, and I'm like, you're still getting it. I mean, you can do what you want with it after, but I'm here, you know. Like something good might happen if I keep filming, you know. It might cry, it might be viral.
I remember that, and like not to go too much into stand up, but I remember people giving me advice like when I was like gigging over for the first couple of times in Manchester. It was like record everything you do because you never know, you could be the next Jim Jeffries. Do you know the whole Jim Jeffries story about him doing this joke in the Comedy Store in Manchester and this guy from Cork getting offended and like going up to punch him in the face?
Wow.
And it's all recorded. and it's like one of the things that kind of like projected him forward a little bit more in his career. So he always just goes like, always be recording. I'm like, I'll just try and be funny first.
And that guy who tried to punch him grew up to be Benjamin Netanyahu.
We're going to say Andrew Rand.
Yeah, right enough. Yeah. Grew up. I feel like Andrew Ryan was born the age he is. Strutting out of the womb, looking the exact same.
Having an extensive knowledge about ISIS and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh, that's wild. I mean, I wonder what happened to the guy who threw the punch. You know, what's he doing now? You know, because that was a group effort.
Jim Jeffries still pays him royalties every month.
Exactly.
You have sorted me out, big lad.
I'd do that. If I was Bill Burr, I'd be paying reparations to Philadelphia, you know.
What is the closest you've come to like something actually kicking off? The most awkward for me was that guy where I done the joke and asked, "What's your star sign?" and he went, "Cancer," and I have cancer. And then, do you remember that? And then he was like,
actually, yeah.
I went, "Martin, what's your name?" And then Martin, and I went, "Martino Mueller," and he took it really thick.
It was weird that that's what he took thick as well, because he had positioned himself as like a heckly guy the whole night, but he's like, "I'm a bit of lighthearted fun you can have with me," and it's like, no, you're actually being really annoying. And then you called him Martino Mueller despite people making fun of his cancer.
Yeah.
and him suddenly was like, what?
He's like, "Don't you ever fucking compare me to someone from Sinn Féin?" And I was like, "They're money grabbing bastards and all," and I was like, fucking hell, Jesus, yeah.
And that man grew up to be
dead.
Foster. Yeah.
What gig was that?
It was a PAV, yeah. It was just
a
around,
PAV.
yeah. It was the day Succession ended. I remember that. I was like, let's just have a good gig and go home and watch Succession end. And yeah.
I forgot all about that guy. Yeah, some weird people there. Closest to something kicking off, someone threw a bottle at me in the PAV once because I whispered to him to be a bit quiet. And there was another time in Yardbird, there used to be a gig where you could sign up on the night there. Before Madden's, which is the premier sign up on the night gig now, and that's great. There used to be a bit of a messier one in Yardbird, and which is Dirty Onion, basically upstairs. And it might have been in your time actually. Just before, and it was great, but they stopped doing it because it was the same 16 acts every month, and there wasn't as many people on the scene back then to sustain it. But there was a guy who was really heckly and all, and you only had 5 minutes, and I just sort of ran rings around him a couple of times and made fun of him a bit, and people were laughing at him and stuff, but he was still going. And then I think he got a bit mad that I was making fun of him. And then I did do the sort of thing where you go, "Do you want to actually fucking do this then? You think you're so fucking funny?" And he stood up and he was gonna go. And then his mate grabbed his arm and pulled him down. And then fucking Willie T went on stage just as he's being dragged out by a doorman afterwards, and he was like, he has to go home for his dinner. It's just fully fixed the room after I got a bit too mad at him, you know.
Oh, fuck.
Wild. But yeah, what about you?
There's an altercation in a bar in Newcastle once after I told a joke. And back in the early days of me doing
Is that the Anchor?
Yes, yeah. I didn't want to mention it, but thank you.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's gone now, it's fine. Yeah, and he, back in the day, I will admit this, I thought that stand-up comedians should say the worst thing that comes to mind and then worry about making it funny first. So I think
edge phase.
Yeah. We all had
a bit of that. Yeah.
I had a joke about suicide. I did it, and this guy didn't like it and came up to talk to me in the smoking area afterwards. And I think I hit. There was a scuffle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It was when I was opening for Aaron McCann in the Anchor.
Fuck.
Was it Aaron or Geddes? It was Aaron or Geddes. I can't remember which one it was. But
is that back in the Christian used to book those ones, didn't he, for a wee while?
No.
God rest him.
No,
the ones we've lost along the way.
Pouring one out from
that
home.
plane went down. Took one of the best comedians.
But no, I really like gigging in Newcastle.
Yeah. Well, you have to say it now after saying. So, this fucking
telling them the
scumbag in fucking Scum Beach, Newcastle.
See, last night, it was no joke last night. The crowd were very much on Alan Irwin's side, but for some reason he decided to do the Bernie Mac. "Y'all motherfuckers don't scare me."
I have found myself saying that to so many different crowds recently, and I don't know why. And it's normally after they don't laugh at a joke.
Yeah,
it's like, "You motherfuckers don't scare me."
Do a weird wee dance. I think that's my favourite bit about the Bernie Mac thing. We dance every time. We musical cue.
He's someone that I never really watched, and Alan was like, you need to watch him. And like, watch him, but see, they have the confidence to imagine your bet doesn't land and you still have to do the wee dance to the musical cue. Like, that's like, it's so like.
Does he have to do it with new material as well? Like stuff that he's not sure about?
Not sure if there's anything in this.
I heard it. I didn't actually see this once, but Oh, never mind. Sorry, I thought I'd done something there. No, there was like a friend of a friend was doing their first hour, and they really weren't ready. They shouldn't have been doing it. They were not very good at all. And
I do appreciate you coming though.
And they were doing it in the barge, I think. And it was meant to be like their life story, and there was costume changes in the middle, but she was performing to silence the entire time, you know, and so she had to do the costume changes in silence on stage.
Oh, fuck that.
And I think that's the bit that breaks my heart whenever I heard that, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
Probably, I mean, I'd have been in tears maybe. I've been like, should we just go home? Maybe we should just go home.
It's like, I've never, like, I think if you're doing an hour show and it's really going bad and you're like at the 40-minute mark, I go, right, I'm going to wrap it up here then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Normally I do it after that. Even if it's going well, I'm like half an hour, yeah, let's wrap this up.
Right.
Well, me and you had a conversation where I think 40, if you're doing a headline shows or a solo show, is almost perfect. Like 40, people are like really happy.
Because there's no dip in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they know it's like, you're breaking it up instead of 2 half-hour sections, 2 20-minute sections, and that's a lot easier for people to get their head around rather than that extra 10 minutes.
I think I like 50 because that's the length of a therapy session. I like the therapeutic hour, you know. It just feels there's definitely a dip when you do the full hour, and I think sometimes as well you can see it. Even in the middle of the show, you go, "Ooh, everything's just getting okay responses right now."
Yeah.
And the best thing you can do is just relax into it, or break it up with some weird shit.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think audiences have like a sixth sense as well, where they can almost tell, right, he's building to a closer here or something out there, so they get back on board.
Yeah,
and,
it's like the crescendo type thing.
Yeah, and then that's where it's like, right, and sing.
It's one of those weird things where everybody can feel it, though. The audience can feel the lull, the comedian can feel the lull. It's just a weird kind of...
Happens to me in a 10-minute set. 6 minutes in.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is a lull.
Minute 1 to minute 9 there was a real lull, wasn't it? You know, that round of applause at the start and end of my set was the real peak for me.
I was like, fucking, they really went for me at the end when I left the stage.
Aye.
Like a guy came up to me and was like, "Saw you at Lavery's on Thursday," and then, do you want to? I was just saying, saw you, and I was like, okay, no worries.
Oh yeah, that Lavery's was the best Lavery's I've ever done.
So we're here.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was only on for 5 minutes. It's always the fucking way. Like,
were you last minute edition as well?
I just think Darren didn't want to do anything in the second half, so he goes like, "Do you want 5?" And I was like,
Darren did the best I've ever seen him doing Lavery's last night. Very culty crowd as well.
Oh yeah, that's his wheelhouse.
Very much for him.
That's very much his wheelhouse. Like.
Yeah, 100%.
I will go on record as saying Darren Matthews is one of the best MCs in the UK.
I think so,
yeah.
You can hang your hat on him.
Oh,
Darren Matthews like having Rodri in your team. Like, it's just an anchor of like,
Yeah. I'll tell him
Put that in your tour poster. Darren Matthews is Rodri. For as a Man United fan, he probably hate it, but
he's a buttress. We've no sponsors, right? We've nothing to. We're at no one's behest.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, no, good. I think we should try and get sponsored by like heinous, horrible things.
Man City. Owned by a large oil barn. Speaking of, like, how long have we done so far, sir?
Speaking of oil barn.
42.
Happy days.
Sleep.
This podcast is sponsored by Coney 2012. Can't hire a babysitter. Nothing to do with the kids. Think they could do with a bit of discipline. I saw this post where someone said, if I was in the army and I found I was fighting against child soldiers, I would breathe the biggest sigh of relief. Which, I guess I get that. I suppose, you know.
Where you're just like, you could probably kick some of them and be like,
He's
not going to be able to lift that gun. To be fair, I probably couldn't deal her.
But to be honest, like, teenagers at shopping centres still scare me to this day. So I don't think I would fare any better with like child soldiers.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, they're going to
They might
laugh
make a
at
wee
me.
joke at me as I pass.
Yeah, which is
Actually-
more cutting than any bullet.
Though the only time that's ever happened to me, they said something really nice. Like I had really long hair at the time, and I walked past someone, and he went, "Jorge Masvidal," who was like a UFC fighter with really long hair, who I did not look like, but it was a very good compliment. And I said something like, "Oh, I get that all the time." I do not. I don't get that anywhere. I was like, "Come back, follow me around. Give me his innovative compliments."
What does he say? Send people to the shadow realm? Or just send this kid to the child soldier to the shadow realm? He's fuck.
Some of them are ready to be child soldiers up in shopping centres, aren't they?
Oh yeah, it's like my mom was like when Russia got invaded by Ukraine, or no, the other way around.
Look at this apologist here.
Sorry, I'm watching too much Russia today. So that Putin, my boy Putin, listen, just give them their country back. It belongs to Russia. I remember when they invaded. My mom was like, "See, if they came around our area, I wouldn't be having it." I'm like, "Well, mate, you cross the road when someone's walking up with their hood up." I was like, "This is it, like." I'm like, "Oh, it's fucking mental, like."
I like the idea of it maybe being a running joke in the podcast that Ciaran secretly has heinous positions on loads of stuff.
What do you mean, joke?
Tell you what, them South Sudanese had it coming.
Is this really? It's not that I'm going to get on that.
But
It's like I remember being at a house party and someone said at the start of my work, and I was like, "Where I know you from?" And she's like, "You're at a house party, but you had like a hood up." And you were like just laughing at your own jokes. It was like Palpatine just in the corner of this house party. It's like just sitting like anytime someone made a joke, like good.
Do it.
Also, you shot electric out of your hands when you didn't like someone to leave.
That was that was a performance of a lifetime. Was him in the prequels. That was him. That was incredible. Doing all that throaty shit.
Yeah.
With a big old hood.
Execute Order 66.
You would be fucking raging that Mace Windu done that, do you? Like, Ringo to like.
I'd be more raging if I was with Mace Windu as well. He really had him. He had him on the ropes, But
he kept talking down to Anakin, and Anakin would probably be like, "Who am I going to go for here?" The fucking,
yeah. My new father figure or this prick here waving his wee purple stick around.
One thing that the prequels didn't do well is that I was in between Attack of the Clones, and when Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan and Anakin hate each other, or they're constantly bickering, and then in Revenge of the Sith they're best mates and he's calling him his brother. It's like, how do you get to that stage? Like, I found it hard to get to that.
It's also like, to me, I feel like there's some things almost like the priesthood as well, because they're not allowed to be having sex with people, and then in the third one Obi-Wan clearly knows like that Anakin's riding Yuan there all the time, and he just sort of is just like, bit of an open secret, just on the scene.
Everyone knows, but no one wants to say anything about it.
Anakin Weinstein walking around,
It's like Back to the Future as well. That Biff's only punishment is to wash the car, even though he tries to rape the mum. It's what the fuck?
Can I tell you, I've never seen Back to the Future.
What?
Yeah, I've never.
I used to. It was weird. There's a hairdresser's just in Finnegy where my dad used to go get his haircut when he was feuding with the normal hairdressers that we went to, that I still go to this day. He, for some reason, just fucking fell out with him and never went back to them. But it's the hairdresser I go to. Literally today, before I got here, I was at the hairdresser's. Thanks for noticing. But
oh fuck yeah!
Only 2 hours too late.
I remember always watching. It used to seem to always be on ITV2 during like a rainy Sunday, like one Back to the Future movie.
Oh yeah,
right, yes.
The second's my favorite, but
second's good.
Biff to me is the best sci-fi villain ever. Like I fucking love Biff as a villain. Like why don't you make like a tree McFly?
He seems like a proper old school bully.
Yeah,
and I feel like there's not enough of that anymore. Too many grey areas. I mean, because in real life there's grey areas. I think that's it. But I kind of miss someone who is just a cunt, just a full cunt, like from birth. He's just that. Like nature and nurture. Nah, he's a cunt.
Yeah, it's like the guy what's his name? He's now doing something for Trump. Vivek
Ramaswamy.
Yeah, I tweeted being like, he looks like the sort of guy I'd shove into a locker in school. But it looks like I'm saying that because he's Indian.
He does have a very bullyable face, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And Musk too.
And hairline. It's like, shave it off, lad.
I mean, I feel like Musk is very easy to bully because he's very. he's just got so many very open flaws that he's totally in denial about. And then if you like, he just never owns any of them. Do you know what I mean? Like he came on stage with Dave Chappelle and everyone started booing, and he was like, actually there was loads of cheers there. It's like, mate, we've got ears. Like,
Wait, was Chappelle for Trump?
Sort of. No, it was a year ago. I don't think he was openly anything, but I'm sure he'll make a special in a year or two, sort of acting like he predicted it and all.
Yeah.
You know the way a lot of them do. Like, oh, here, I fucking told you. It's like, nah, mate, you said something vague.
Mystic Meg strikes again.
No, never mind. Anyway, yeah, I can. Do you know sometimes when you're about to make a joke and your mind fills up with the most like racist or misogynist shit, and it's like, oh, I can't make the joke without the other stuff jumping in front of it.
That literally never happens to me. Look, I don't know what's wrong with you.
There's someone in the crowd in Lavery's on Wednesday. He said she was a HE teacher, and then suddenly just I couldn't say anything because my mind filled up with misogyny. like, and then like I spent 5 seconds after I got off stage thinking about it. It's like so many things I could say about that weren't misogynist, but just in the heat of that moment, just everything that filled my head was like, hey, you're a fucking woman, aren't you?
Yeah. And you're coming to comedy clubs now. These are for both men only, like, you know.
Women with friends. Fucking fine.
Changing it from HE to SHE.
Gee, back in my day, men made soda bread pizzas, not the other way around, for fuck's sake.
And I think, luckily I just moved on. I was just like, I'm just going to move on, you know.
Do you ever type in school, like, boobs into the calculator? And then show your crush, like...
Look at that.
This is what I like.
I'm a pretty cool guy.
It's just, looking at this, it actually says 6006, but if you just flip it upside down, boobs.
Whoa. Do you know what as well? I wouldn't have shown it to my crush. It was an in-joke between me and the lads. That's more what it was
that
like.
Boys.
It was like, yeah.
I was a bit woke. I was like, listen, I'm going to let you know a wee secret.
I was like, that's what wokeism was back then. It's just...
Now, we haven't worked out how to do penis in the calculator, but...
I know there's a 5 involved somewhere.
Yeah,
there's
we'll get there, like.
There's definitely sin. Calculator pun.
Yeah, that is great. That was fantastic. I'm taken aback on how good that was.
It's one of those things where it's technically proficient but not very funny. You ever write a joke and you're like, it's really proficient, and there's not a fucking giggle in it.
It's just like
a poem. Basically, you've written a poem.
So, get up on stage, like I said, so here's the calculator poem.
I used to do wee poem bits whenever I started and all. It was just to break. It was to break it up. It was to break up my lull. Usually, you know, if there was a lull in a set, I'd be like, I'll do a wee poem. And it was this poem about finding out your roommate's on drugs, and then so you hid all his needles on him, and then it turns out it was insulin. And it's just like, this insulin's a hell of a drug. You should see the withdrawals this guy's going through.
What was your first ever joke that you wrote?
First, because I really wanted to do it during, and then lockdown happened, so I wrote like I wrote about 20 pages, and I went back and read it before we're getting ready to do my first ever set, and it was like the writings of an angry wee man. It was like so aggressive, like. And then it's the first ever joke I wrote. It was about my brother being gay and also being really involved in republicanism, and my parents couldn't decide which was scarier for them. And like that was, which it isn't true. My parents were really like heartwarming when he came out, but for the bit I was like, they come across like fucking Nigel Dodds and it's like ridiculous, like. But wow. it worked, like, so.
Yeah, it did too. And it did come across as the writings of an angry wee man.
Yeah.
I think though when we all start, we all have like wee edgelord phase, and then if you start particularly young, you probably do have a wee fucking incel sounding phase. You know what I mean? If I wrote stand up whenever I was 18 or 19, it would have sounded like a fucking gimp.
Well, that's, I'm always worried about like whenever because I used to do a lot of porn jokes, and then now I'm like, what the fuck? Like I'm not someone.
Hey, right, what do you know?
Yeah.
And I know wanks.
As a porn addict,
nice.
Yeah, it was something that like, but like first ever jokes as well. I go back and I'm like, there's only 2 sort of bits that I still do now, which are a name and homes joke and a joke about an Xbox name. Yeah. Oh, not there, the sort of.
Aye.
John McLean above.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's picking up in the mics, but there's like a weird wee buzz.
There's someone cutting through in a chainsaw.
It just sounds like someone's got a very loud kettle at some point in the show as well. Anyway, first jokes. What about you?
Yeah.
Fuck. it was something to do with my heart. I know that much, or my dad dying.
A video of your first set still public on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm very happy with it.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, you should be. It went well.
I was very drunk though.
Yeah,
for that first one.
I watched your first Laveries. Remember when I was trying to get into stand up and it was on YouTube and holy shit, it's just one of the best.
People have been coming up saying that because when they type in Northern Irish comedian for a while at the 2018, 2019, like if you typed in Northern Irish stand up comedy into YouTube, it would be Geddes, Shane, and then lots of my stuff would pop up for some reason, and I don't understand
just
why.
Got the tags right.
My brother told me to
probably
check it.
did.
Do you remember when I was trying to get into it? He was like, "Can you check out a guy called Jordan Robinson?" And
Oh,
stuff.
is this your brother? Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
And then
It's good taste.
Yeah, the kid knows it. Like
This will be you in the travel and tourism world in a few years. You know, hey, you want to show someone the Albert Clock? Look at this. Look at this video of Jordan Robinson here. I think you'd be great at that, man.
I think the tour guiding thing is quite similar to stand up because you don't want to put up a clip of you doing stand up and then you go like, right, I can't use that clip anymore because it's up on the internet and stuff like that. Same with like, you don't want to do those tour guide videos where you do the tour to the camera and you're like, I've wasted all that material.
Yeah, I can't take them to the big fish anymore. For fuck's sake, like, I've given all the secrets about it.
There was Australian comedian Beck Hill, who's brilliant. Actually, I haven't seen her in donkeys, but she came here once and with her mum weirdly, and I think I was showing her some places, and after a while she was like, every time you point a place out, you also just tell a story about something sexual or romantic or a romantic failure that happened. And I just like the idea of like a tour guide who's like doing stories about a place but also going like, and this is where I had my first kiss and it was a fucking mess. Or like, and then it turns out like the tour is just there because like it's a way around a restraining order. This is where she works here, and she comes out and she's like, you're not legally allowed to be here, and it's like, if I'm working, I am. Somebody give me £1 quick.
Forbidden Planet, this is where she rejected me dressed as Princess Leia. Who showed up as Luke. She didn't go for it.
But yeah, sorry, no, I wasn't saying anything. I don't know why I said sexual there. I wasn't telling sexual stories because I remember Beck's mum was there as well. Wouldn't do that. Wouldn't be like somebody in her 50s being like, that's where I fucking fingered her against the wall, and then I sung Ain't No Sunshine to her as well. That's too weird to not be true, isn't it? Hey, just discovered I had a singing voice.
This is where I took her with fucking boojum after and fucking not like a feed after a regel, is it?
This is pre-boojum, man.
Oh, yeah.
This is fucking...
I only know boojum before and after. That's when we got out of the two stages of my life. Like,
I remember Boojum when it was in Botanic, but like like 2 doors up from where it is now.
Yeah,
small one.
The wee one, the big queues and all. It was really a big deal. And now in hindsight, you're like, it is just a burrito.
Yeah, it's just a burrito. It's the same with Popeyes.
No one else was doing it. Yeah,
Popeyes was the exact same, and I was down
had it?
there today, and it was dead.
was it?
Like
Wow.
proper like tumbleweeds. Look.
And the food?
Yeah.
See, yeah, that's where they get you.
First boojum I had because it was so big and buffed. I remember bringing it home. I specifically remember in my head, my ma looked and going, "Are you eating an armadillo?" I said, "What the fuck is that got to do?"
It's pretty big. I had this phase as well where I was particularly poor, and I was like, I'd eat 1 boojum a day and nothing else, and I'd be like, sure, you get all the vitamins you need. And then it's speaking through my anemic lips as well. It's like basically had an eating disorder really, and just was like, sure, I'm just being practical. Fucking, it's like you lose a lot of weight this way. It's like, but you know, that's through diarrhea. You're losing a lot of weight just from shitting out your lungs.
Our revenge will be the laughter of the queso.
Our revenge will be the plopping of our toilets.
Speaking of that saying off, and I read the book, and like it's class, but there is like one bit where it introduces Bobby Sands like a Marvel teaser, where it's like it goes, they had to pick one man to do the hunger strike, and his name was Bobby Sands, and I'm like, there should be a bit in the book where it says "Play Here" and "What I've Done" by Linkin Park.
He walks out of the shadows, played by Harry Styles.
Because it's clearly Bobby Sands, but they're trying to not show it's Bobby Sands.
Yeah.
He goes, he was 26, he was young, he was a poet. His name was Bobby Sands.
It was like a FIFA Ultimate Team walkout.
Yeah. He walks out and he's like, I hear you guys are hungry for change.
It's like I know his nephew, but like I'm sure he's sick of being like when I got introduced to him, my mate introduced us to him and goes, well, this is Thingy. He's Bobby Sands' nephew, just all across Salvage. And I'm sure he's fed up with being announced as Bobby Sands' nephew everywhere he goes.
Aye. People making comments anytime he eats as well, like, oh, the apple does fall far from the tree, doesn't it?
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, you don't look too hungry, do you?
Oh, fuck.
Too far? Too far. We're losing the Akon sponsorship.
Yeah. But we are getting a sponsor from the Orange Lodge.
But
On that note, will we get promoting?
Yes, let's promote. What do you got to plug?
I've got a lot of gigs. How's your listenership in Dublin?
How's our listenership? How are you?
I've got a bunch of gigs from the 6th to the 12th down in Dublin. I'm in Crackdown, the Crunch, the International, and then I'm in Oma for 2 gigs, and then I'm also in Newry at the end of this month. I'm in Warren Point at the end of December. Sunflower next Sunday. The comedy fundraiser for Adam Byrne.
Yes,
Mum,
22nd.
22nd. And then I'm in London as well.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a lot of stuff. Yeah, because if you're wondering where Jordan's been in the last couple of years, he's performing more down south now. So when he's up north, it makes him a more precious commodity than ever. You know?
You tell fucking promoters that because they don't think it's.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So and
where can he be found?
I
mean, on social media.
Jordan Robinson Comedy on Instagram. And that's it. I've got nothing else to plug really.
Nice. Just yourself. What about yourself, Ciaran? Anything to plug?
Just Audacity. It's Bring Your Own. It's in a coffee shop. There's about half the tickets sold. Dave Elliott's headlining. Ross Mitchell is on it. Tiff Minson, Adam Byrne, and have to get 2 replacements as well. But I'll be emceeing. And then there's No Joke, the Christmas special, 12th of December, featuring Luke McGibbon emceeing, Dave Elliott headlining, Ian Thompson, Heller Anderson, and Richard Shea. So
good eggs.
Please
good eggs, one and all. Plug-in. Instagram that, but also some shows I'm doing. If you go on my Instagram, the links are there in the link tree. I'm doing a work in progress version of my solo show on the 28th of November in Derry. It's a Thursday. It's in Bennigan's Bar. It's free, basically. It's you can buy a ticket and then it's pay what you want on the night, but tickets are basically nothing. I would love to see you there. That would be great. I'm doing a solo show on the 28th of December in the Black Box. It is 60% sold, depending on how charitable a definition you have of sold out.
No joke. Last night was sold out. According to Instagram,
sold out. I mean, there's you could call it sold out at a certain level, and then afterwards you can pretend that you had production holds, which is my plan.
Yeah.
Just be like, but I mean, I'm the production though. I was holding.
Yeah,
I was attached, and now I've let it go. But so I'd love to see you there, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
I feel kind of bad because I also the 20th is also one of the gigs that I was pimping there, and I'm giving people an alternative not to go to your show, and I would like to apologize.
There's about 3 alternatives that night. See, some of the bigger acts apparently are going to do a fucking SSE date that night, and it's like, they haven't announced that yet, but it'll be out anyway by the time. But lads, there's 364 other days of the year. I picked this date because you're not fucking performing, and now you're fucking performing. Anyway, but yeah, enough of that about that.
I'm also doing the SSE on the 28th.
I don't know. My back's really sweat.
Yeah, sweet,
Cool.
Pod.
See y'all then.
All right.
Thank you very much, Justin.
It's been fun.